All right, we're back. Another weekly vault. We are now entering the third week of the official season. And personally, for me, I would say it was a pretty lax week, but a pretty efficient week. So both of my monks got a full raid clear, whether that be heroic or normal. We also have mythic slots on all of our tanks, or I should say all of our brewmasters. I did a couple of things on my warrior as well, so I'm feeling pretty good. So we're going to start off by opening up my mains vault. When it comes to Mythic Plus, I didn't play that much last week. My healer is out of town right now, and every other healer I try to come in contact with doesn't have like availability at the times that my group likes to play, or my DPS just aren't around. So I kind of took this last week off. We played a lot on Tuesday, and then we basically have been just working on alts pretty much the entire time. Now, something I want to note about this week is that we have another catalyst charge. So if you're someone who's been fairly unlucky and has like only 2 or 3 tier pieces, you should be much closer to your 4 set this week. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your vault options. Now I'm going to make sure that I am set to Brewmaster specifically because there's some items that I still want. For example, Tome of Light's Devotion from Priory would be pretty sick. But realistically, we're probably just going for Mythic track upgrades. So let's open this up and see what we can get. All right, naturally, we're going to get a belt with Leech. Very cool. Okay, so fuck. Okay. So this belt is unfortunate because I crafted an Adrenal Surge class. This is most likely our best in slot in terms of overall survivability. You can make arguments that there's other better embellishments for pure damage, but I'm someone who enjoys Mythic Plus, and I don't really care as much about being like the top ranked parse in raid. It sucks that belts can drop from here, mostly because I know the Delve belt's still popular for most classes and specs, and on top of that, I also crafted, so probably not going to take this. And then we also have a Crit Mastery Polearm. I believe this comes from the very first boss. If I ever want to have a better Mythic track weapon, I can always just loot it in raid or hope that it drops in raid since it does come from the first boss. So probably ignoring both of these slots, which is unfortunate because this has Leech on it, and it has a tertiary stat, but that's okay. So next we have our Mythic Track Helm. So having this be crit verse, this is probably our best tier piece as a Brewmaster Monk. I most likely will end up taking this. We also have a Haste verse Mythic Track chest piece, which I would eventually catalyze. Now the benefit of taking the tier item instead of the non-tier item that I would use my catalyst charge on is that I can save that catalyst charge for either like a Mythic raid drop or from a hard mode deathless run drop. So these are both options, but chances are I'll probably be leaning towards the helmet instead. We also have the first Fist of the So Cartel. This is a weapon that drops from Tazavesh Streets or from hard mode. Since there is an additional form of farming it, I can always get it there. It also doesn't have the greatest stats on it. Crit, haste, not necessarily the most impactful stats for the Brewmaster, so probably ignoring this slot as well. And then we have a Hero Track Polearm and a Foot Bomb Dispenser with speed. I would take this for the speed, but besides that, I don't really care. So I think my best option is going to be the helm. This is pretty one-sided. Yeah, we're going to go for helmet. Not the worst vault, also not the best vault, but that's all good. All right, a very, very small 3% or 3 itemable upgrade. And we are on our way to getting our nice transmog set, which is good. I think that is my first mythic. Oh no, I have the cloak. Okay, cool. So now what this means is that I could pretty easily start kind of banking these catalyst charges for later when I need it. So that's good. So like I said, this week you do have a catalyst charge, so keep that in mind. You get a half spark, so you don't necessarily have to do your half spark quest because you can always do it next week and then get kind of the bad, not bad luck protection, but the catch up system. And yeah, there's nothing really crazy going on this week. So yeah, we're good. All right, next we have my second Brewmaster. This has been kind of a side little passion project I've been working on. Most of it comes down to, and I talked about this on stream yesterday, but Brewmaster is starting to become one of the only specs that I enjoy playing in this game, for better or for worse. And so having a second character allows me to still kind of get those dopamine hits of upgraded gear. Also, it kind of allows me to think about like, oh, well, what if this happened in this alternate scenario? Like, this character got really lucky with trinkets. I have Tome of Light's Devotion. I have Ringing Ritual Mud. I have Sephorium Pacemaker. I was able to get the warp plants. So all of these things are they are true for this character. but not true for my main. My main has foresight, this character does not. So it's kind of an interesting little game I get to play where I enjoy the spec a lot, but I also get to figure out like different progression paths for a character because I'm limited to the content I get to do. On this character, I'm not going to be raiding as much. I'm probably going to be pugging more or less on this character. Maybe I'm doing more or less delve. So, and yeah, we'll, let's set this to Brewmaster and open up this vault. In terms of gear, I'm really hoping for foresight. So yeah, foresight would be sick. Bang. What is this vault, man? Chess piece, haste mastery, hero track, pretty good, but I can always catalyze the piece that I currently have, or I think I have a chest maybe somewhere else that's hero track. I do, so I don't necessarily need this chest in particular. We also got an antenna. Antenna was recently nerfed. It's giving 3% less crit. It also tends to proc less for tanks, or at least it used to on the PTR. I don't know if they've updated that, but this is probably not a trinket I'm looking to chase. And then we also have a high haste, low mastery neck. Very good maybe for like Windwalker or Mistweaver, but probably not something I want to use. So I'm going to pretty much ignore the raid column. Now I did get Soleil's secret technique. This is a decent stat stick. They also changed it, so it should be now lasting for 1 hour instead of for the 30 minutes. That was probably the biggest complaint. These were some patch notes that I think we saw yesterday or 2 days ago where they nerfed trinkets. But we also have a Sephorium Pacemaker. So here's my thoughts on the Pacemaker and trinkets in particular. Pacemaker is probably one of the better trinkets that we can get as Brewmaster Monk specifically. We know that Dinars are coming back during the Turbo Boost event in 11.2.5, or at least a couple weeks after the event goes live, or the patch. And so with Dinars coming into play, if there is a better item, I can kind of ignore trinkets because I'm just going to be able to buy a Mythic Track Sephorium in the future. Now, if this had tertiary stats on it, or if I had a worse vault, I might lean towards that. But I do see that we have a Mythic Track chest piece. Unlike everything else, when I say everything else, I mean pretty much trinkets and cantrip items, we can't buy Mythic Tier. So Mythic Tier is kind of important to be able to get from your vault, and in the future, I can get really unlucky and I might never see a Mythic Track chest again. Now, I can always maybe try to raid. I can always end up maybe crafting in that slot. Maybe I can get it from like a Mythic hard mode. This does come from Mythic, so like Deathless. So chances are, I'm probably going to take this instead and use my Catalyst charge on it. I can get the Sephorium Pacemaker in a future week because I have a Hero Track one already, and the difference between this and a Heroic one is going to be pretty minimal. I also have a couple of Heroic weapons, like I have the Befouler Syringe from Delves. I have a chest piece, which again, I don't need its hero track, and same with the neck. It's high crit, lower haste. Don't really care for it. Don't really want it. So chances are we're gonna grab this. Now, one thing I want to do just before I do that is I can't remember if I had one catalyst charge left over or if I had 0. And because we got one this week, I should either have 1 or 2. And if I have 2, that means I can make 4 set. If I don't, then I can't. I do have 2. So I have 2 set equipped, and I don't have 2 set elsewhere. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm most likely going to catalyze that mythic chest, and then I'm going to also catalyze these shoulders. So that's the plan here. I don't know why. Okay. Oh, there we go. So we're going to go for the chest. Now, the trinkets were good. Also, the hero chest is fine, but again, mythic track is not farmable. Hero track is. So if we ever have the option to take a mythic slotted item, we will prefer that over almost everything else. So here's that chest. And we're also going to be slotting hero track shoulders into the mix. Now, the other thing I want to note about this character is that I haven't sent my crafts yet. I still have both of my crafts here. In terms of Brewmaster crafting specifically, belt and like bracers are a really good option. Boots, ideally you get from the raid to empower your Reshi wraps. You're going to have 4 tier items. You're going to have a crafted belt, maybe crafted bracers. Did I say Reshi wraps already? And then you're going to have your 4 tier items. So you don't have a lot of wiggle room in terms of like what you're going to craft and what you want to get from your vault. So it's rough out here. All right, just double checking that this is mythic track. Then we're going to hit transform here. And then we're going to transform the shoulders as well. Now, the only thing I would say is I could. Now, this may or may not be true because it's kind of contingent on the, like, if I end up doing this dungeon or not. I could wait to see if I get shoulders specifically from the hard mode run, but as you can see, there's a lot of gear that could drop from hard mode. So I'm probably gonna just kind of gamble the possibility that I won't get it. So I think I'm gonna go for these shoulders and call it a day. Or nope, never mind, we're going shoulders. Bang. So this character should now have 4-set, which is actually fucking litty titty. On God, for real, for real. All right, sick. All right, and that just about sums it up. That's probably it in terms of vaults. I'm gonna open up my Prot Warrior one really quick, but yeah, not too shabby. I now have 2 monks with 4-set. All right, W. Warrior is something that I plan on playing a little bit more in the near future. It's kind of been riding a backseat, taking the backseat for a bit here. Quickly opening up the vault. Ideally, we're looking... Dude, why are the... What's with the belts, man? Oh... Dude, I have a small idea, but I don't know if it's like, So this character can have 4-set soon. I just need to farm out 2k IO. It's 2k, right? I just haven't really done any... I haven't done a couple of keys, but basically if I farm out 2k IO, I should be able to make set. I have a bunch of hero... I guess I already have pants. I'm probably looking for at least hero track here. The thing I was going to see is like what... You know what? Fuck it. Wowhead, classes, protection, bis gear. The best belt is going to be a crafted belt that has crit and haste on it. The waist has haste mastery. Mastery is kind of our worst stat. Huh. My problem with this vault is that I want mythic track loot. Because I want to stay like ahead of the curve. This ring is pretty doo-doo. And this belt isn't terrible, but it's also not great. And the thing is, like, I want to just take shoulders that I can catalyze to at least have hero track shoulders, but I know deep down that they're farmable. And so I think the best plan of action is to take belt on the mythic track. And at least for the time being, I can then either craft different items. I could eventually catalyze this if I really want to. Crit verse isn't terrible, but I'm going to need to allocate a lot more haste elsewhere. So I think I go belt just to have the mythic track because I don't think I'll be using this ring anytime soon. So we'll go belt. That's not what I wanted to do. Pretty shitty vault, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta take what you get. And that's just about it. All right, that's vault video. You have extra catalyst. You know, do your chores. Good luck in Mythic Plus, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.